Take 12. If you want the run uncut, yeah. Unapologetic from the jump, yeah. And no politics in this club, just dirt from the streets and the cliques in the mud. Take 12. Best podcast for the Seahawks, #1 sports talk, yeah, we got it on live. Take 12. Every episode, 12 hot takes, and we reppin' for Seattle, my place.
On this episode of Take 12, Lofa and I jump right into it as usual. And then we are joined by a very special guest. Former Seahawk. He's a legend, not only on the team, but in the community up there in Seattle. Super Bowl champion. I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this a secret or not, since he does kind of jump in midstream here. Give a couple.
Everyone
clues.
loves surprises.
You got a couple more. Former Detroit Lion.
Ooh.
And
74 career sacks.
Oh, there you go.
30 career forced fumbles.
Is that something you're interested in?
Yup.
One of the biggest plays in Seahawk history? Is that something you're interested in?
Yup.
Stay tuned for that, everybody. But first, I got to tell you about Wiener Schnitzel. 2 locations in Western Washington, one of them in Everett, one of them in Fife. Go on in and see Dom and the rest of the team today. Let them know that the Take 12 podcast sent you there, and you get a free hot dog with any other purchase, whether it's a corn dog or the Polish sandwich, root beer floats.
Yum.
Ice cream milkshakes?
Yup.
Yep. It's all good at Wiener Schnitzel, everybody. We love them. They love us, and you love them, which is why they love us. So go check them out. And right now, check out us talking plenty of football. We go through the Pete Carroll stuff with Seattle, who Cliff thinks should be next, the sort of philosophy stuff, him and Lofa chopping it up player to player.
Did you just reveal our mystery guest? Or did we already?
Oh, somebody will have to bleep that out later. Forget that I even said that. And then we go through all of the playoff games and then our guest's favorite memory as a Seahawk and yada, yada. I was trying to tease some stuff. Oh, well, maybe I gave it away. Whatever. Here you go. Enjoy the conversation, everybody. Let's just go, and then we'll see what happens here. And our special
F and A, Brett. F and A.
F and A, man. We both got our black hoodies on. Let's just go, dude. It's a day. It's well, yours has, get your microphone out of the way.
Yeah.
It's dragon season, baby.
It's dragon season.
Dragon season. Was that the USF? No, the
XFL and the USFL, or the spring football. One of them merged. We got to get McNeil on this case.
XFL and USFL merged into the UFL.
UFL, yeah.
United Football League.
Yep.
Yeah. Go Dragons.
Yeah, that's our team.
Yeah, man.
But I mean, I think it makes sense.
You can't do a world without football, can you?
I don't want to know a world without football, man. I mean, and we talked about it. Thank God, California, didn't they veto the ban on 12 and under tackle football? They were like, no, we're not doing that. Who was it, Newsom?
Yeah, Newsom, he vetoed it. It made it through the first round of whatever it had to make it through, this ban on tackle football under the age of 12. But then he said, nah.
Yeah, I don't know who Newsom is, but I like him. just from that standpoint. Oh, yeah, wait. The last time we were
very white teeth on this guy.
The last time we were talking about him he was implementing the mask ban, and then he was like at a party without a mask. That was the last time we were talking about him. But you know what? I reversed course. A
lot of range on this guy. Oh, here, hold on. Actually,
he does it all.
Here comes someone who will have an opinion on this. Let's see here. There, joining the chat. Joining the chat live, everybody. We can hear him. Oh, there he is. There, Cliff Avril, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Cliff.
Can y'all hear me? We're good. Yeah. Thank you guys.
Oh, we're good. We can hear you, man.
Oh, perfect.
Thanks. Lofa and I. The thing is, Lofa and I, we always just kind of start talking. And so we did that. And then Lofa said, hey, let's just start going since we can't ever just sort of save it for the microphone. So we're just kind of jumping in here, if that's all right with you, my man.
Hey, it's all good, man. Loaf likes to freestyle. I've seen him. He's just acting. He has a lot on his mind. Let's go.
That's it.
Too much often.
Well, we were talking about because Lofa's, if he moves his microphone there, he's wearing a dragon sweatshirt.
Okay.
Because it's dragon season up there in Seattle. So we were talking about the merger here and the new UFL. And Lofa was weeping because a world without football, which is coming soon, and for all of us, is just a world we don't want to live in. Cliff, right? You get sad towards the end of the season every year, don't you?
I mean, I wouldn't say I get sad. I mean, because if I was a player, depending on how good or bad my team was, I'd be either excited or not. But
between the players, I suppose. Okay, all right.
Yeah, you'd be excited if it's the offseason and you're on a bummy team. But I mean, the end of the season is just interesting. It for me, it's more about just finding, all right, what's the next thing I'm dive into, which typically is the NBA season for me. But you love football season. Football season is fun. It's great. It's great for the city. It's great for the atmosphere and everybody's kind of into it. So especially when your city's winning.
Yeah, totally. And then what else? Go ahead, Lofa.
See, I could go without all of basketball until the playoffs. I don't get excited until like May or June for basketball. Like
that's a fair statement. That's a fair statement because it does get a little bit more competitive. But I mean, I just like hoops in general. So I like to just that's usually when I like actually clock in to start seeing some of the guys that are actually doing some stuff, right? Catching some of the highlights because during the NFL season, I'm not really paying too much attention to those guys. So as soon as the season kind of ends, it's kind of when just get back in the swing of things. But I agree. Playoff basketball is definitely, a better thing to watch than the regular season for sure.
Man, I went to a high school hoops game this last weekend. A buddy of mine invited us and our kids and everything. And it's so much fun, by the way. It was like $5 to get in. But Notre Dame down here and Chaminade were playing, and these guys can ball, man. Like when I was in school, there was like one guy in high school that could dunk my whole 4 years. Like every guy on these teams could dunk. There's this kid, Mercy Miller. He is, I mean, whoa, crazy.
Is that that's Master P's son, isn't it? I think maybe, but
yes,
I might know.
Yes.
It is, right?
Yes, I think so.
He's real nice. High school hoops is completely different from when I was coming through the ranks. I mean, especially out here in Seattle, like I'll actually go to a high school game just to kind of see what the talent's like. And like you said, man, these kids are out there, doing some not just dunking, like doing exotic dunks. You know what I mean? During warm-ups and different things like that. Full-blown beards, tats and stuff. I'm like, I don't remember having tats when I was in high school. Like, I don't remember guys having tats.
It's end to end, too. I think the final score was like 90-84.
And
they're playing 8-minute quarters.
Well, you know what's interesting is kids are actually reclassifying. Like for 8 or 10 years, there was everyone jumping up to go to college early. Now, I think because of the COVID holdovers and everything and all the extra eligibility, well, there's 24-year-olds in college and there's kids staying back an extra year now. Like, all right, I'm going to reclassify backwards, go through like 8th or 9th grade twice to stay in for another year to make it fair.
Well, I don't know if it makes it fair. I don't know if it makes it fair because, like, so my kids are in the AAU, circuit or whatever. And my son's 12 years old, but like he's playing against 14-year-olds, 15-years-olds. I'm like, all right, like you're not in 7th grade, bro. You drove to the game. You drove to the game. You brought your teammates with you. All right, that's not cool for my son. But I think it'll help him on the back end. But right now, I don't know if you get better from that.
Sure.
Agreed.
Sure. Well, that kind of leads me to talking about football because there's all the NIL stuff in college. We could talk about the 6th-year seniors in college. I think there is a lot of those, like Mike Penix, right, locally there and things like that. But if we're talking college, we might as well slide into the NFL since that's what this show's really all about. And since we got Cliff here, Lofa, I just wanted to start with Pete Carroll. Cliff, and sort of just get your thoughts on when that news broke. I know it's been a bit, but we're all still sort of processing it and just kind of get your thoughts on that day.
This is my actually first interview of actually talking about it. Of course, people blowing me up, and I was traveling or whatever, but I was actually shocked. I was surprised that this happened so soon. I think. It was still a winning season. Of course, it didn't go the way they wanted it to go. Some would say it's been kind of downhill, for the last 4 or 5 years, or whatever the case may be. But I also think fans have gotten spoiled. You know what I mean? Like, people forget the years before this 14-year run. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes you think the grass is greener and you go over there and it's muddy. You know what I mean? So I hope that's not necessarily the case, of course, as a Seahawks fan now. But I was very shocked. I think Coach Carroll actually is a great coach, and be able to do what he's done over the last 14 years. Heck, just honestly, since he's been a coach from the SC days all the way through, he's a winner. And I was just shocked. I didn't think it was going to happen this year. Maybe in the near future, but I definitely didn't think it was going to happen this year.
Yeah, that's kind of what our consensus was around here. Where do you think they go from here? And if not name wise, you can name names if you want, but style wise and everything. Where do we go from here?
Of course, I'm biased, but I think defense wins championships, right? So I think you go with a defensive coach out there. And to be honest with you, and again, another biased take, I think, but a legitimate one too is I like Dan Quinn. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like Dan Quinn. He was a part of all the great stuff that we were a part of over 2013, 2014. Obviously, he's been known to be able to put good defenses together. He's been to the Super Bowl after he's left here as well as a head coach. I think he has the resume. He understands the style of play. He knows what it takes to win ball games on the defensive side outside of that last game in Dallas. So I think he's a solid. He would be a solid head coach here in the city of Seattle. He fits everything that Seattle is accustomed to from a coach as well over the last 14 years. So he would be the guy that I would go with. Just again, more of a bias, but he has the resume to be a legit candidate for the Seattle Seahawks head coach job.
That's who you said, Lofo, right?
That's exactly what I said. And I just want to ask Cliff, he was the D-line coach and then went to coordinator, right? So you had both. You had him in both roles when you were here in Seattle.
No, I missed him as a D-line coach. When I came here, okay. He was a D coordinator already.
Okay. I played for him when he was a D-line coach, and he was the man. Yeah. And I'm sure he only got better because when I came back to coach in 2015, he was over in Atlanta. But what is it about DQ that, whether it's his meetings or, how he goes about handling business that you think would benefit this team compared to last year?
I think he's a younger version, but different in the sense a younger version of Coach Carroll, but different in the sense of like he has his own ways of doing things. But he's definitely a player's coach, though. Like, he's someone that you can go chop it up with, go talk to. Hey, coach, I'm not feeling this. Hey, coach, what do you think about this? And he'll actually listen. Like, that was what I appreciated more about him as a D coordinator was, hey, coach, hey, I'm not feeling this. Or, hey, Cliff, what do you think about this play? What do you think about being on the edge on this blitz, right? Do you feel like you could be effective, or whatever the case may be? So a coach like that, it's one, most coaches are set in their own ways. They're not trying to listen to players. They're not trying to think. They're not considering what these players have to go through in some of these situations. And I think him understanding that you win the ball, you win games up front, obviously with his background being a D-lineman or D-line coach, but also now he understands the back end. He can put all that stuff together. I think it's just a great recipe. And we've seen it in Dallas. We've seen what he's been able to do in Dallas with that. And it's all about, obviously bringing the other pieces around him, other coaches that kind of fit that same mold. But overall, though, I think him being a player's coach is what gives him the benefit, what gives him, I think, an upper hand to be able to have more success because guys will follow
that. What happened with the team this year, you think, Cliff? Why didn't it come together in the way we all expected it to? I'm sorry?
Jumped out with that one.
Nah, I didn't even let you finish your question. My bad.
No, go ahead, run with it. I mean, that's my question. Like, what happened this year?
I think inconsistency, man. We like the last couple of years. I think that's been the issue. Is at times, man, we look like we can crush all the other 31 teams in the league, and then at times you're like, whoa, what? Like we can't catch anything. We can't tackle anything. So we were just too inconsistent. And I think with that is it's going to be leadership in the locker room. It's going to be, guys buying in a system. But leadership, I think that was the biggest thing. Just based on the years that I played, the guys that I played with, we took pride in like not being the weakest link. We took pride in making sure that I wasn't gonna leave my brothers out to dry. Whether it's making tackles, whether it's doing plays that you're not gonna make the play, sacrificing yourself, knowing you're not gonna make the play. But I know KJ Wright's gonna get that tackle, and that gives me the opportunity to go pass rush. Right? I don't know if those guys have that same mentality. Sometimes younger players can tend to, it's about me. And that will lead to inconsistency. That will lead to, a fractured locker room in a sense. But just the inconsistency over the last couple of years, I think, has been the biggest issue.
Mm-hmm. Cliff, I got a question. I think this is one of the most desirable jobs for head coaches out there in terms of roster and how we look, and then working with John and all the draft picks that he's hit. How close do you think this team is from making deep playoff runs?
I think it's gonna start with whoever they hire first and foremost, right? Because whoever they hire, the guys that are already the core group of guys that they're going to keep, and we don't know who those are, but for the most part, we have somewhat of an idea, right? They're going to have to buy into whatever system that is, and that's why I like DQ, is because he's very easy to fall in love with as a coach, right? He's because he's going to be on your side. He's going to want what's best for you because he understands that you're going to give your best efforts too. So I think it's going to be based on coaching style. It's going to be based on coaches. And but they have the roster, man. They have a bunch of young boys that can get after it on defense. Again, another reason for DQ. They got. I'm still a fan of Geno. I'm still a fan of Tyler Lockett. I'm still a fan of. The running game is solid. So really, it's making sure that this coach comes in and doesn't put people out of position. It's easy to come in and like, this is my defense. I'm going to run this 3-4, but you got a bunch of 4-3 guys. You see what I'm saying? So. Well, I think that's going to play a role.
Go ahead, Brett.
Internet today is a little bit of a lag. I think that's why it was surprising that they went away from Pete like they did, because like Lofa and I have talked about, the names on the roster are there, and Pete's an energetic guy who it seems like they wanted to play for. I'm not sure if the head coach was necessarily the issue. Lofa, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Cliff, pertaining to the trenches, you're our foremost expert. I didn't think, now we had the body types, but I didn't think we had the play style to stay in the 3-4. We did start to go into more 4-3, one gap, and still had our issues, I think because we didn't get enough practice at it. But, do we have what it takes? And Jaron Reed was the only one that looked to me in the backfield, dominating, consistently showing up, seven sacks. He was a monster. But outside of him, even Leonard, there were some tough times in the run game. Mm-hmm. So what did you see with the D-line play?
I agree. One, you got to sign Jaron Reed to a longer-term deal. He was definitely the backbone of that D-line this past year, as far as for playing in the backfield in the run and in pass. So I think that's something you got to lock down. And he can play. And him actually leaving gave him more appreciation for Seattle, but also being able to learn how to play in a 3-4 and a 4-3. So that's why his production didn't necessarily drop. But then you had Leonard, I think, who is predominantly been in a 3-4 his majority of his career. And then now you're asking him to kind of do some different things. He wasn't used to that. But they have some young boys, man. I think Boye.
I think Chenna going out. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but Chenna going out, I think, was a big, big thing.
Chenna going out was big. You got Boye still. You got Jaron Reed. Like, I think you have a core group of guys that you can build around. And both of those guys, I think Jay Reed can play in either or 3-4 or 4-3. I think Chenna and and Mafe, both of those boys can be outside linebackers / defensive ends on the edge. Now you add a couple other small pieces and guys to buy in. I think we have a solid core group of guys on the front end to be able to build off of.
Yeah. Do you think they're not going to name a coach till the Super Bowl's over, probably, right?
Most likely. That's usually. I think you want to see every candidate, right? That's going to roll out this next week. Might be some other guys that you might want to check out. and maybe you don't want to show your cards too early. I don't know. I'm sure that there's some kind of political aspect to it as well.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens, obviously, with the Seahawks. And if more news develops, you guys know where to turn. It's Take 12 here. Did you hear that, Lofa? We got an exclusive with Cliff. His thoughts on Pete Carroll.
Yeah. Exciting.
First time he shared those thoughts. If you guys, we're going to talk about the playoffs. If you guys are flying to any of these playoff games, just because you're football fanatics, use our friends Delta Airlines. That's how I somewhat smoothly segue into a live read about Delta Airlines. They're our favorite airline. Excuse me, the only airline that we fly around here and that you guys should fly. Sign up for 12 status, and that gets you 1 extra mile for every yard the Seahawks throw for. You'll have to wait till next season, but make sure you're signed up in advance. 12 status at deltaairlines.com, everybody. Okay, guys, the playoffs, man, some good games over the weekend. Lofa, let's go through all of them pretty much. Where do you want to start?
I mean, we got to start with Cliff's old team, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
I applaud.
Yeah. Everything this means for that city. I mean, Cliff, take us through it. I mean, because was your first year the season where you wanted to go, or leave early?
Yes. One, man, I'm so excited for the Lions on so many fronts, man. The organization, obviously, but more so than anything, man, the city of Detroit. They deserve it, man. They're some of the ultimate fans. I was a part of the 0-16 year as a rookie, and people were still showing up to games. They might have had bags on their faces, on their heads, but they were showing up to games. They were still supporting, and that's all they want, man. They like all the other teams have done well over the years, but the Lions, for whatever reason, have never been able to get over that hump. So to see them still in the playoffs, NFC championship game, like I'm just extremely happy for that city, man, because they deserve it, man. The people there are some of the coolest, dopest people that you'll ever meet, and I know they're ecstatic. I know they're happy that the Lions are still playing, and they got a good chance. They look really good.
Cliff,
it's an awesome story all the way around. Oh, sorry, Lofa, sorry.
I just have to ask.
Awesome story all the way around. Go.
What has to happen to go 0-16? Take us in that locker room, or that. I just need to know. I went through 4-12, 5-11. It's pretty fucking brutal.
Oh,
but no doubt. 0-16. What were you guys saying to each other?
So I'm a rookie now, so I'm still trying to figure things out. I'm like, I'm just, the first thing I realized is don't be the reason why, whatever that looked like. But then, honestly, I would just be in the locker room and I'd just be hearing, like, I remember this vividly. I'm sitting in a defensive meeting room. The whole defense is in there, and I'm not gonna say his name, but a player gets to going off on the coach. And the coaches are they're going back and forth. It starts off like, hey, this is what the call was. The player's like, no, you see my hand up. This is what the call was. And then it goes back and forth to the point where the player's like, hey, meet me outside. Like, meet me outside. What you want to do? Meet me outside, right? Shit. Anybody knows that means, hey, we about to square up. Like, what's up? So, and in my head as a rookie, I'm like, oh, this is how the NFL's ran? Like, you can talk crazy to your coaches? You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all can actually say y'all gonna fight each other? Like, that's a thing? You know what I'm saying? Damn. Oh, no, that's just what a losing team does. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I didn't know. I'm just literally just paying attention to this stuff and like, I'm thinking this is what the NFL is about, but not realizing, no, that's just a dysfunctional team. That's just a losing team. And so it was weird, but it taught me everything that I didn't need to. It taught me everything I didn't need to do as a pro, basically.
Yeah, totally. That's not happening in Dan Campbell's locker room, probably, right, Lofa?
No, I played with Dan Campbell at that. He was on the 0-16 team.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Right. So for him to be in the playoffs now, that's pretty cool.
Right.
That's wild.
Well, then take us through him. I mean, you know him well. Like, I mean, we love him here as a head coach. We've talked about him on the show a bunch of times. He's a fiery guy. I mean, that game was awesome. Jared Goff just, man, proving a lot of people wrong. And I love his story. Some great throws. But you can talk Dan Campbell also if you want.
I think. Well, let's start off with Jared Goff. I think with Jared Goff and what Dan Campbell honestly has done is Jared Goff he's playing lights out, but he has some playmakers around him. I mean, some of these weapons he got, it's hard to look bad with some of those guys. You know what I mean? But again, hats off to him because he is playing well. He's making some really crazy, great throws. But he also has
to
mention
the players, though. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Real Sports story on him or a 60 Minutes feature on him and his family or whatever. But I mean, I kind of knew years and years ago, and it was funny. My wife was like, "Is that guy?" I was like, "Yeah, oh yeah, it is." I mean, he is strong, man.
No, he's killing it, man. Again, and then their defense is hungry. They got some playmakers all the way around. But Dan Campbell, I think what's so cool about him is as you know, Lo, for whatever reason, tight ends get a pass to be crazy, say what they want. They like my entire career, tight ends have always been like that group of guys. Like they're like chameleons. They can hang out with the D line. They can hang out with the offensive line. They can hang out with wide receivers, say what they want. You know what I mean? Do all the crazy stuff. That's Dan Campbell. You know what I mean? To a T, right? And he brings that energy, man. But I think this also shows why it's so important for coaches or organizations, not even coaches, organizations to look at certain athletes to be able to be coaches, right? Guys that have experienced it. Because there's something about having a coach, and I've only had one coach really, might be just Lofa. I've only had one coach really that actually played the game at a high level and understands like what we're going through. Because there's times my coach has told me like, "Hey, I need you to run it this way." I'm like, "Coach, honestly, that's not the best. That's not the best thing for me or this defense." You know what I'm saying?
It won't get it done, Coach.
It won't get it done.
Do it my way. Yeah.
And sometimes as I got older, I'm like, "Coach, you have to show me you've done this for me to say like, know that this works, right?" So like having a coach like Dan Campbell, who understands what it takes to be a pro, who understands what it takes to go through that grind of playing a long career. Like guys want to be like him, so they're going to follow his lead. And I think that's exactly what you're seeing right now with Dan Campbell, even with the Raiders, with Pierce. Like that's the type of stuff you're seeing. And I think organizations should start considering. Now, guys got to make sure they know what the heck they're talking about, of course. But
sure,
players will follow players. You know what I mean? And so that's what you're seeing with Dan Campbell, and I'm excited and I'm happy to see it.
What about you? You want to coach?
No.
No.
Well, let me elaborate on that. So I like being able to give the game back. I like being able to talk to the guys. I mean, for the last 2 years, every Thursday I go out there and watch pass rush and try to give little tidbits. Like I like doing that piece of it. There's nothing more gratifying, and Lofa can attest to. There's nothing more gratifying than to show a kid how to do something, get active, and then he go execute and get a sack off of it, get a sack fumble. Nothing more. It's like when you tell your kids to go do something, they actually do it and they have success at it, right? It's the same feeling that you get, but those hours are crazy. Those hours are unreal, and that's the piece that I think right now I'd be being selfish to my kids if I decided I want to coach.
Well, Dan from one head coach that was a player to another, the Houston-Baltimore game. Unfortunately, I was rooting for Houston, but Baltimore is just they're playing lights out, or at least they woke up and halfway through the game. But anyway, they woke the beast that is Baltimore. But I was rooting for Houston. However, they came up short. Anything from that game, Lofa?
Yeah, man. Baltimore, they don't have any weaknesses. Offense, defense, special teams. They go out and they kick the shit out of you. And it is going to be very hard for anybody to go in there and get a win. The hottest team that we've seen so far, the Houston Texans, led by D'Amico, another former player that did a tremendous job in his first year. They had no answers to Lamar, and no one really has all season. That's why he's going to be the MVP. But, yeah, dude, it's just I'd like to see Lamar early in the game use his legs. I think he's putting the team on his shoulders. He's like, hey, guys, I got this. But and Cliff could tell you, when you have a quarterback that's explosive like that, with his legs, it presents a whole set of problems. You can't run two-man anymore. You can't do some of the things that you practiced all week, and it just causes fits for you. So I wasn't surprised. Houston surprised me by hanging around for the first half. Then in the second half, Lamar just took matters into his own hands.
It feels like Baltimore's going to be in the Super Bowl, right, Cliff?
Yeah, it's going to be tough. I mean, because they're good all the way around. But what Loaf just said, as a pass rusher, coming from a pass rusher perspective, and every level of the defense has to be concerned with a player like Lamar, right? Usually, it's he's a pocket passer. That's your only concern. Now you can focus on the wide receivers. You can focus on the running backs. But now we're talking about the quarterback can kill you with his legs too. Oh man, so that's just a whole nother set of headaches. And honestly, you need a whole nother day just to prepare for that. And you don't have that many days, to prepare. So he's a problem, man. He's a problem. He can kill you with his arms, he can kill you with his feet. In the running game, in the pass, he doesn't see anything, he's gonna take off on you. It's kind of unfair, to be honest with you, because he's super athletic. He makes you look silly. It's but they have a great chance of being able to take it all away.
Well, and then their defense, right? I mean, they're just
you can't run on them
as always.
I mean, and I think San Fran's the only one, and I really feel like, without getting too far ahead, but that's going to be the Super Bowl matchup. The two home teams win, but we'll get further into each matchup. But the first time McCaffrey was averaging like 6 or 7 yards, and Shanahan just dropped back with Purdy like 40 times, just like he did against Green Bay, which had me puzzled. I was like, what? And then he finally hands it to McCaffrey, who breaks a 40-yarder. It's like, it's going to happen, but if you don't stay consistent and dropping back 40 times when you don't have Debo, I didn't understand it. But
they ended up eking out the win, though. I really thought. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Baltimore is, just they're in a league of their own, really, talent-wise.
Agree.
Okay. So you went to Green Bay, San Francisco, so we'll stay there. San Francisco, I have to admit I was sort of ignoring that one. I don't like looking at their uniforms on my TV, so I glanced up every once in a while. And I was rooting for Green Bay the whole time, but the Niners come back. They get that 3-point victory. And I mean, let's go into this one here, because what happened there? I mean, it was raining. I don't know, but
another reason not to throw the ball 40 times. It just. Yeah. It didn't make sense to me. I love Cliff's opinion on it.
Both of the teams, Baltimore and Santa Clara, they were coming off of the bye and not playing. Is that you had to wake up a little bit, maybe?
No. I mean, I think in those situations. So I think in those situations, that's really more about the type of team that you have, right? If you got a bunch of guys that are older, they know what to expect. Especially if they've experienced it. And sometimes it might take a little second to knock the cobwebs off because you haven't played in 2 weeks. But overall, though, they showed resilience. They showed the resiliency of being able to weather the storm, bounce back. They didn't get too far. They didn't get, they weren't down 21-0 before they woke up or anything like that. So even with them sleeping, they still weren't getting beat on. You know what I mean? Which is something to speak about too, right? From a just a talent perspective. But I think both teams, whether you talk about Baltimore, you talk about the 49ers, they're both riding high right now. They both have some really great players. That boy Christian McCaffrey, man, like I wasn't a believer about 4 years ago because I wasn't seeing as many of his games. You know what I'm saying? With him being with the Carolina Panthers. But that boy's a problem. That boy is a issue, and I think it's the same thing that I was just talking about with the Lions. Purdy has a lot of weapons, man. Because I mean, McCaffrey. Then you talk about Debo. Then you talk like those guys by themselves can change the game. You know what I mean? So having those types of players on his team definitely benefits him quite a bit.
Well, we got to go through another guy, though, who can change the game, which is Patty Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, because, they're sort of, I don't know if flying under the radar is the right way to describe it since that game was so big and all that, but like they just kind of, everybody's sort of waiting for them to lose, but they just keep winning, and they beat the Buffalo Bills again, and they just played a quarterback who can run, but albeit like a kind of a different style, of course, in Jared Allen a little bit, but wide right again for Buffalo, and KC keeps winning, and here they come.
Yeah, that was I'm not going to say I was shocked, but, Mahomes, Kelsey, Andy Reid, experience. And this is what you need when you come to the playoffs and must-win games. And so They kind of sleptwalked through the regular season, but they're awake now, and it's a problem. Mahomes looked amazing, very efficient. Just how quickly he processes what the defense is in and where to go with the ball is unbelievable. Some of those throws, it was freezing out there, not as cold as their last game, but still playing in those elements. And Kelsey, hasn't had many great games this season, but when it counts most, he made it happen. And so I just still think Baltimore is too much, but it's hard to go against Mahomes, in the playoffs when it counts. And this was his first road game. Guy's got 2 Super Bowls, been to another, been to 6 straight championship games. This is the first time he went on the road.
He's got to do it again in Baltimore, Cliff. He's got to do it again.
Yeah, I think experience is what has allowed these guys to pull that one out last week or yesterday, I guess. But it's crazy because I don't know. Some people aren't rooting for him. A lot of people are like, oh, we're tired of seeing KC, and it's like, to me as a professional athlete, as a competitor, it's like that's actually pretty fascinating to see how they're able to do this because there's no parity in the NFL. There's like, you just never know. Any given Sunday is a real thing. Like the greatest of great teams lose against some crappy teams sometimes. It just is what it is. But these guys find ways to continue to keep winning ball games, and it's impressive. Like as much as I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl because it's KC, it's pretty doggone impressive to see them continue to find ways to win. I was just telling somebody last night. I was like, people think that the team is the same every single year. That's not the case. You got a core group of 5 guys, maybe 6, that probably have been able to ride all of that out. But it's really like it's 6 guys and it's 48, 47 other guys new or playing different roles or whatever else, and they're finding ways to win. So shout out to Andy Reid, man, because they're figuring it out.
Well, I'm not sure if people are sick of the Kansas City Chiefs as much as they're just sick of all the commercials during the games that feature all of the Chiefs. I'm sick of Mahomes' voice.
You gotta beat him. That's the only way to do it.
That's what happens when you win.
Man,
people
but
love
it's not
winners.
just the insurance ones. They're in, like Andy Reid's in a Snickers one. The Chiefs are in every commercial. Kelsey's in the backs ones. They're in everything.
I'll say, well, when we were at our heyday, it was hard to miss a Richard Sherman. It was hard to miss a Marshawn. It was hard. Like guys were on stuff left and right too. So it's really when you're winning, hey, they're gonna gravitate towards you.
It was all when Richard Sherman showed up on the pistachios commercial. I was like, "Whoa, really? Pistachios too?"
In the green uniform too. I will go into football for 1 second here. I don't know what was more confusing: the fake punt on your own 30, right?
I was going to bring that up. Yep.
Or a fly sweep to McCall Hardman when Isaiah Pacheco's just running down their throat every time he gets the ball. Like, I don't know why either of those were called.
Well, at least the one of them almost went into the end zone. It just went into the end zone in a way that cost them the ball. But the other one, the fake punt, I mean, if you're asking me which one's more curious, the fake punt's my answer, because the other one almost worked at least.
Yeah. I think sometimes coaches just overcoach. They overthink things. Like, go with what's winning. And sometimes like, oh, well, we want to throw them off with something. It's like, no, keep driving it down their throat till they can stop it. Like, why not? Like, we're here to win. Yeah. What are we talking about?
Yeah. The fake punt. I was going to bring it up anyway. I think we should stay here for a second. The fake punt. What are they doing? And then also, the fake punt, but then also, I think it was a different game, or was it that game where they went for 2 and didn't get it, which kept them down by 8? Was that the Lions and the Tampa Bay one? And it was weird. It was like, why not just kick the extra point? Because then if you get the ball back, a touchdown ties it. All this new thinking, like you're saying, Cliff, it's in a lot of different situations.
Analytics. Nobody wants to be a real person anymore. Everybody wants to read the robots and the analytics and what they say and the percentages. It's like, but the percentages come from actually playing the ball game. Like, what are we talking? You know what I mean? Certain things just make more sense.
There's the element of instinct. Yes. And I'm telling you, I was listening to the radio for when they went for 2, and I was like, why the hell would you go for 2? And then they tried to like convince me with the analytics. You're like, you have a 3% increase, so you go from 5% to 8. We're not talking like 5 to 30. You have a 3% chance better to win. Where it confuses me is that, okay, just you got the human element, right? The human aspect, the players. If I'm the coach and we aren't successful, now in my players' minds, they're not focused on getting the ball back and scoring. They're like, okay, if we get the ball back, because we got to get the ball back. Yeah, now we have to score and get the 2 point this time just to go to overtime, which we would have done anyways. Or I'm okay with a coach going for 2 to win the game at the end, even if it's a playoff game. You're on the road. You don't want to go to overtime. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell would do that. We'd jump off our couches and cheer.
Yeah, and I'm fine. Even if you don't get that 2 point the second time, I'm fine. But to do that right then, I just don't get it.
It was weird. And on the TV broadcast, Collinsworth was so quick to just go, no, this makes sense. And he goes through this big explanation. And I'm sitting on my couch with my 9-year-old son going, son, no, don't do this. This doesn't make sense.
But not even just that, like the analytics, I think there's a place for analytics, right?
Sure.
3rd and 7, most teams, it's an 85% chance that they're going to pass the ball. That's great stats. Like those are, but like analytics does not account for the emotions of the game, the environment of the game. It doesn't account for a lot of different things from the human aspect of the game. So it's like, okay, we're going to play these numbers, but I look back at my team and everybody has their head down. So does that mean we should still do it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we talking about?
Going for 2.
Yeah, let's go for 2 anyways. Like, they don't even have confidence in it. So why the heck would I do it? You know what I mean? So that's the part I think analytics gets you in trouble, man.
Well, there was another curious one, just to go back for 1 second, then we'll move on. At the end of the Bucs-Detroit game, which we're all happy that the Lions won. However, and I know the Lions were in field goal range. However, the Bucs have a timeout left. It's 3rd and 14. Goff kneels on it, and the Bucs, there's 40 seconds left. If they call a timeout, there's 39 seconds left. Detroit would either have to try to kick a field goal to go up by 11. If they miss it, now you have the ball down by 8 with no timeouts, but like 40 seconds left. Is it weird they don't call a timeout there and make Detroit do something? Goff knees it, and they all just start shaking hands, and the clock just runs from 39 at least. It's not like there's only 13 seconds left.
Yeah, that is weird. I didn't get to see that. I was in the car for that part of the game, but that makes no sense.
They were in their territory. I mean, it's a makeable field goal. They probably would have gone up by 11, but even then, you get the kickoff. I don't know, like fight till the end, right? Cliff?
Makeable field goal. Tell that to Green Bay and Buffalo.
Yeah, true. Yeah. That analytics again. I don't. Football is like it's becoming more and more interesting. I think this is my conspiracy theorist component of all of this. I don't think football is scripted. I've never thought football is scripted. So all the people that say that craziness, but I think when gambling got into it, that's when the analytics became even more important because now it gives people a reason, I guess, for the actions a little bit more. But overall, though, I think again there is a human element to this. There's a human a psychological component to the game of football, and I think when you start to put the numbers and the analytics over that component, I think you lose more games than not.
Well, Cliff, we could go down conspiracy theory avenue all day long, but I'm afraid I might get my knees broke if I get into the gambling.
Well, there's one already floating, Brett.
Okay, I'm in. What?
There was a picture circulating that said halftime by Usher, and then it said for the Baltimore versus Niners Super Bowl matchup
with the colors. Yeah, I seen that.
Yes.
I seen that. They're saying that for the last 2 or 3 years, the colors of the Super Bowl has matched the team's colors that are actually going to be in it. And it actually was the last 2 or 3 years. And they're saying that this year is going to be Baltimore and 49ers.
Wow. I remember true story. Gather round, kids. Uncle Brett's telling true stories from way back in the day. But when I was a kid, I remember my dad and I talking about like a team or any team of any sport being in Las Vegas. And he was like, no, they'll never do it. I remember this conversation. I was like, why not? And he goes, well, here's why. And he starts to sort of explain why. And now you fast forward to right now, and everything's brought to you by DraftKings and yada, yada, yada. I mean, it leads to people wearing tinfoil hats. That's for sure. But let's not do that. You guys, let's talk Simply Seattle. Simply Seattle. Our friends at Simply Seattle. Go to simplyseattle.com. Use promo code TAKE12. Take 12% off of anything. Super Bowl predictions. Cliff, I just want to get your Super Bowl prediction, and then we'll move on and then wrap up this show.
I mean, the 49ers and the Ravens. but I would love to see Detroit in the Super Bowl, though. Yes. I think they have a fighting chance, but Christian McCaffrey and some of those, I don't know. But I see 49ers and the Ravens being in there.
Even more conspiracy theorists, actually our own conspiracy theorist McNeil is somewhere in this chat, but all that debacle with the Lions at the end of the game when the guy didn't report and yada yada yada, and if they would have won that game, would this game be in Detroit or not?
No. If not, if who are they playing? No, because they'd still be playing San Fran. Okay. San Fran's number 1 seed.
Okay. No. Okay, then never mind. Forget that. Forget that conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Moving on. Cliff, last thing to do with you here. I'm going to call it the 2-minute drill. I got some questions that we like to ask people around here from time to time.
You got to make it the 30-second drill. He's got to go.
Oh, okay. He's got to go. Rapid fire then. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, okay. He's got a hard out? You got a hard out, Cliff? I didn't know.
Hard out.
I got to roll here in about 2 minutes. So let's roll.
All right. Well, then I will make it
enough
quick.
Time.
Then. I will make it quick then. Give me, okay. Then, you know what? Since we were talking about Pete, I'm going to start halfway down the list. Just give me your favorite Pete-ism. That's sort of how we ask it. I know he's got a lot of sayings, a lot of things he does, you know. What's your favorite Pete Carroll-ism?
To keep it short and simple, man, I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he doesn't have any cavities or anything like that, but that man loves his gum. He chomps on that gum. And then here's the craziest thing. You may have met him, Loaf, but I forget my guy. He makes socks out in Germany. There's like a whole thing where like guys collect his gum, like, and put it like in trophy cases and stuff.
We did meet him.
Yeah, like that's a little bit of a stretch. That's a little bit of a stretch. But yeah, I think the chomping on the gum and launching it into the crowd is a Pete-ism.
Give me your favorite play from your time as a Seahawk.
Ooh, I mean, fastest score in Super Bowl history, baby. The first play of the Super Bowl. Safety. And yours truly has that that record. So I'm excited about that. And every single year for the last 10 years, I tweet about it, holding my breath, make sure that doesn't get broken.
And Cliff, tell us about your foundation and all the cool things that you're doing and all of that up there.
I appreciate it, man. Cliff Avril Family Foundation is geared towards juvenile diabetes and also the education system in Haiti. So we built schools in Haiti, we built homes in Haiti. But mostly right now, our main focus has been on the Cliffs Crew, which is a group of young men. They're young men now. But I've had them since they were in 3rd grade. Now they're in 8th and 9th grade, where it's all about exposure to different professions that are here in their own backyard. Most kids, unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately, but fortunately, but unfortunately, they only see themselves as entertainers of some sort, whether that's sports, whether that's music, whatever it may be. But the odds of you actually making it is very slim. And I'm not saying you can't make it, but I'm also saying, hey, there's these other professions that are here. And one example that I always like to give is, if you look at the Seattle Seahawks facility, the VMAC, every profession you can think of is in that building outside of the players, whether you're talking about lawyers, accountants, doctors, chefs, whatever you can think of is in that building. And when we won the Super Bowl, every one of those people got a ring too, because they play a role in that, right? So you can still win you Super Bowls and also have these other different professions. So it's all about exposure. It's all about making sure that they can dream bigger than just being an athlete or an entertainer of some sort.
That's very cool, man. Very, very cool. And we appreciate your time. I know we kept you a little long, but thank you so much. I mean, we could talk to you forever. I sort of got, when I looked down, I was like, wow, We've been talking for a bit, Lofa.
Yeah. Cliff, you could jump, brother. We'll wrap up here.
Yeah, dude, thank you so much. We'll see you
All
next
right, brother.
time.
Take care.
Man, so much fun. Just, I mean, I get these guys in here, and as a fan, I could just talk and talk and talk. Couldn't you? I
thought we were going to keep talking. You go, yeah.
You got the theme music going.
Whatever, bro. I didn't want
Well,
to
we
talk
can
to
wrap
you
it up. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got?
You didn't ask me my predictions for the games.
Well, we've got more weeks to go with you here.
Do we? I just feel like it's
Ravens. You said it like a month ago.
Well, we got your
prediction.
Yeah, I did. Be in it.
Okay. Fine. What about McNasty and Katie's?
Niners Ravens.
Okay.
Yeah.
McNasty.
Real original, Katie.
McNasty,
Yeah,
you gonna go with the script or what?
I follow the leaders.
He's McFlurry today.
He's
You're on mute, bud.
He's sleeping.
No, I'm not. Sorry.
Oh, there he is. You gonna go with Niners Ravens?
I'm gonna go Ravens.
They're gonna just play by themselves.
Leave it. Leave it.
The other game ends in a tie. What are you talking about, McNasty?
The Ravens are gonna win the whole thing.
Okay, but who are they gonna play?
They're gonna play the Lions.
Oh, okay.
I like it. I like
Goff
it.
Wants,
Down with
Goff
the
wants
script.
his ring.
Oh, he's precious.
I will send you the clip. Now, I know the Lions are well into Bucks territory, but I will send you the clip because he puts a knee on it and they all start shaking hands immediately. Like they just knew it was gonna like they knew the team wasn't gonna call timeout. Weird. And I remember thinking at the time, huh? And nobody seemed to notice.
Wait, Brett, who's your Super Bowl prediction?
Yeah, nobody asked me.
You were playing the theme music, man. You wanted to get out of here. You're already packed for Cancun.
Oh shit! Thank you, Wiener Schnitzel.
You know what? Just because, why not? Give me the Lions and who else? Oh, Kansas City.
Chiefs?
Yeah.
You're going to go with Mahomes?
Yeah. Give me an old classic rivalry. Two teams from way back when,
I just don't think they can run the ball in Baltimore, man. It's all going to be on Pat Mahomes. And it's not a bad place to be if you're the Chiefs, but the Baltimore Ravens defense is fucking nasty.
If he goes on the road, though, these two playoff games, and then takes them back to the Super Bowl, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I mean, just start. I mean, they could have already started chiseling the statue a while ago, but just put it up now. And for
start
Andy
the parade.
Reid.
Yeah, and start their parade.
And as always, though, shout out to Andy Reid, just because he did it with the Eagles a bit. He's doing it with the Chiefs. I mean, what a football coach.
He went to 4 straight NFC titles or conference championships with the Eagles. And then he went to, 6 straight over here.
6 in a row is insane. He's never not been in a championship game in 6 years.
Yeah. Okay, I was like, there's been a couple of years where he hasn't, but he's got 10 in total.
Crazy.
Maybe more. I don't know. I just going back to when I was entering the league, he was with Philly, and they were on 4 straight, with 1 Super Bowl appearance.
Wow,
insane.
We're gonna get out of here. We'll see you guys next week to talk about lots more football and everything that's happening. It's the Take 12 podcast. Hands in the middle, everybody. Let's break it down. Let's break it down for Cliff. Shall we? Shout out to Cliff Avril for coming on, and shout out to him for all the cool stuff he's doing with his foundation, all the stuff he does in the community. Lo-Fi, I know you go out to the dinners and the events and stuff, and it's awesome. He's always got the former Hawks there. He's such a community guy. He's so cool.
He's the man.
I have a man crush on Cliff Avril. He's just so cool, man.
He is the man. Yeah. What do you want to break it down to?
I don't know. It's Cliff on 3, Cliff on me, right? Or something. I don't know. Something in his honor. You got anything better?
I mean, I don't want to say boiler up. That's what, he's a boiler maker.
If he was here, maybe.
Yeah. Don't really want to break it down to the Lions, but I would in honor of Cliff. Let's just break it down to Cliff.
Yeah, that's good. Cliff on me, Cliff on 3. 1, 2, 3. Cliff!
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 See you guys.